Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland. And this is episode 2 of my new interview show where I get to interview different people about their perspectives on film. And I'm joined today by my brother, Ethan.
No.
So it's a family affair today. So I don't know if you got a chance to watch my first episode or took a look at it. It's literally the same exact question. So I'm going to start off pretty direct. And what is your favorite film?
The Breakfast,
What?
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. Why is The Breakfast Club your favorite film?
Well, first, the 80s, John Hughes. It's like all just classic. Um, they have a lot of really great actors playing in it, and they all do an incredible job at actually portraying the characters. I like how they represent basically every clique you possibly could have in high school, and it really just shows that they don't actually have as much differences as they actually thought they did. So,
We all get to experience that high school experience, and a lot of the times it sucks. I do not miss high school, but it's definitely a film that you want to throw your fist up at the end. And no, we're not going to forget them as it's been decades now and we're still watching the Breakfast Club. And the 80s still have a big influence, and John Hughes has an influence on plenty of things, including Spider-Man films now, which they're trying to capture that John Hughes vibe with. And they definitely had a great cast of young actors in the film, and it's interesting some of them are still pretty famous at this point. And then of course all the great dialogue and banter, it's like you'll find out that answer next Saturday at detention. That principal's such a jerk.
for the rest of your natural born life.
Does Barry Manilow know you raid his wardrobe? Mess with
All
the bull, you'll get the horns. It's a lot of fun. And John Hughes really kind of constructed a whole genre, which I know you're a huge fan of the Brat Pack. So enjoying all of the 80s films. Honestly, probably my favorite John Hughes film is Home Alone, but that's just me. But so what is your earliest memory of going to the movies?
I think the one that sticks out the most is probably, I think it was Space Jam.
That was the one I brought up when I was talking to Jess during my
I don't
first episode.
remember like clearly like any other movies that we really saw. It was definitely Space Jam.
Yeah, I remember because I was like 4, I guess, or 5 at that point. Space Jam came out in 1995, and because Aunt Debbie took us to go see Space Jam, right?
Yeah, we were like this.
Yeah, we were like really
We sat there
close.
late, of course.
I wish I could say that's the closest I've ever been to the screen, but unfortunately, I've been closer, which kind of sucks. Jess and I, when we were together for the first time, went to go see The Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter. And because of a whole fiasco at Lord and Taylor, wound up getting to AMC late and got stuck in the front corner. And this was 70 millimeter, so it was extra wide. So I'm like,
Movie like
I basically was like a sprinkler going like trying to look at the screen. But I do remember Space Jam, and I remember seeing Indian in the Cupboard at the movie theater that used to be in Hatton Township. One screen movie theater, which then turned into just like an empty lot for like the whole rest of our lives.
yeah.
Did they ever put anything in there? Is that still an empty lot?
Technically, urgent care is
Oh,
limited
yeah.
if you want to
That's
be technical about it.
so sad that there used to be a movie theater in our town and wasn't even old enough to even appreciate it. But we got the jam, the Space Jam. And who's ready for Space Jam 2?
Not me.
We're not about that. What is your favorite genre of movies?
Oh, uh, I don't think it's like a true like genre, but like themed kind of like dark, like a Tim Burton like those movies.
German Expressionism.
That's the good stuff.
I know you're a huge fan of Tim Burton and basically anything like the really it's all based off of German expressionist art. And like I don't know if you've ever watched like actual German expressionist films like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari or stuff like that, but if you have, you can definitely tell Tim Burton watched them when he was growing up.
Well, we had to watch videos of it for the RTF classes that I took.
Nice.
And
And
I think I remember that one.
it's fun times when your brother is taking film classes in college and you get to help him with his film class. But that's definitely a big thing. And like, obviously, most Tim Burton movies are either like that really dark, grim, abstract looking German expressionist stuff or like super bright colored like suburban. And I think that's one of the cool things about Edward Scissorhands is it balances the both of them in contrast with each other.
Insane color, and he's all black.
Yep. And even the little nod to having Vincent Price playing the scientist that created him. Vincent Price. But it was funny because Jess and I watched Mars Attacks like a week ago.
I've not seen that since I was a child.
It's been a long time. It had been a long time since I watched it. And if Jess is like, is this why you own it? Is because Tom Jones is in this? And I'm like, I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
45% of
It was funny because I completely forgot. Like, I guess I never realized Jack Nicholson plays two characters in that movie. I remember him playing the president, but he also plays like some big casino head guy. And I'm just like, what? And he has like a fake nose and he's like a redneck with like a cowboy hat and everything. I'm like, what the hell is this? And Jess had never watched it before. So she was like, what the hell are we watching? Especially when they switched Sarah Jessica Parker's head with her like chihuahua. Weird stuff. Tim Burton's a weird dude. But now this might be I don't know if there'll be a similar answer, but who's your favorite filmmaker? Who?
Probably John Hughes.
John Hughes. I'm not surprised about
the
that.
most like satisfaction out of watching his films and like, anything else.
Like, he really knew how to make extremely relatable like teen dramas and really capture that feeling. And like even not just those kinds of films, because like I brought up Home Alone. I'm a huge fan of because I'm pretty sure he did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as well, and I love that film. He he fought because it's rated R because of one scene. That one scene where Steve Martin goes off on the car rental lady. And she just goes
anyway.
And he refused to cut any of it, so they took the R rating for it. But like he was a really talented filmmaker, writer, so I'm not surprised. And I know like growing up, knowing that you watch those films a lot was a big thing. So, who is your favorite actor or actress?
Johnny Depp.
Saw that one coming too. Why Johnny Depp?
Um, so even though he does have a lot of like typecasted roles, he is incredibly versatile in what he does.
It's very interesting because like I'll be watching a movie with Jess and she'll be like, "Is that Johnny Depp?" I'm like, "It is." Like we were watching. It took her a half an hour into What's Eating Gilbert Grape to realize it was Johnny Depp in it.
It's stuff like that. It's at the beginning of his career, he was the like clean cut little preppy boy in like A Nightmare on Elm Street, and
Gets
then
murked.
21 Jump Street, and then like right after that, he was like, I don't like being this anymore. I don't want to be the pretty boy in Hollywood. So he just went.
He went full Burton.
Did
Things like
the first thing after 21 Jump Street that I can think of.
Because I know he was in that movie Cry Baby.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what year that was compared to.
But like he had Edward Scissorhands, and then he was in Ed Wood, and him and Tim Burton have made a lot of films together. And it's interesting because like he has that ability to be like the leading man in things, but I think at his core he enjoys being a character actor because he likes to put on like really weird personas. And even from like Sweeney Todd to just like him even just popping up in like a small role in things like Into the Woods where he's the big bad wolf. Or I remember sitting in the theater watching Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them for the first time, and sitting there when Colin Farrell's character like transforms, and it's like I'm like, is that Johnny Depp? And I think everybody's reaction to the theater was that same exact thing. But like most of the time, he looks like he's having a lot of fun. I know some of his films lately, like I enjoyed Dark Shadows, but like you can tell, like both him and Tim Burton are like, we know our thing, we're gonna do it. But he's had a lot of really, and like whoever would have thought a character like Captain Jack Sparrow would become that big of a thing. He was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor for the first one. And that was all him. It was a big thing. But
he is amazing.
So what is a movie that you can watch literally every day?
That's Excellent Adventure. I can't even count how many times I've seen that movie.
Bill and Ted.
It doesn't get old. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get old.
Whoa! 69 dudes. I can't wait to watch Face the Music with you. We have to figure that out. It's just like it's endlessly quotable. It's just fun. And I've watched it plenty of times. Obviously, you've watched it way more times than I have, but like it never gets old. And they're just so much fun, the two of them together.
Because they kind of just, even the directors, because they were new-ish too, and they're just like, go have fun.
Just do it. Just have fun. And like Abe Lincoln at the end.
Party on, dudes.
Party on, dudes. And that's what the movie was. It was a party. And George Carlin, Rufus is so great. I feel like, because like if I think about that, most of my picks would be like a comedy or something fun or funny, being able to watch it over and over again.
I think the only other thing like that I can keep watching over again is Halloween H2O.
You said Halloween H2O?
Yeah, because it's Halloween in the 90s.
I don't know if I've ever watched that one all the way through. Like, the only two that I actually own are the first two Halloweens. Well, actually, I guess technically I also have the remake. Or I get, well,
Actually, that's supposed to, from what I heard, it's supposed to be one, and that is
yeah.
supposed to be basically like it, where it's supposed to be one film.
Because the thing is, like, they basically were like, forget every other film after the first one. And now we get two more, too.
Yes.
I know Jason Blum just came out and said, no matter what, Halloween Kills is coming out next October. Which, like, let's hope that things get at least back on track in a year from now. But, because, like, we would have been seeing it this month.
Yep. No doubt.
Because that's when it was supposed to release, was this month. And now Amazon has this deal with Blumhouse, and they're releasing two new films every week throughout October. I have some reviews up for them. Some of them, I'm enjoying them. They're not great, but there's some fun movies. But, like, I love the first Halloween. Like,
so good.
I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. Like, The Thing is one of my two favorite horror films of all time, along with The Shining. But, like, every time when Kurt Russell, when the Thing's just like, and he's just like, well, F you too, and just, like, throws the bomb at him. I'm just like, you go, Kurt Russell. You and your fabulous beard and wonderful hair. Mullets for days. It's really funny because, like, he has the same exact beard as his son. Now, what film connects with you on a personal level because it's linked to another interest of yours?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to say Major League or not. I kind of figured it would at least be a baseball movie. But
Kevin Costner does all the baseball, right?
Kevin Costner does do all the baseball movies. But what about Field of Dreams makes that one extra special?
I think because he just showed, like, how much he actually loved the game by he was listening to a voice telling him that he needs to build this. And most people would be like, either check themselves into somewhere or just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope, I'm going to go on a road trip and try to figure this out. And the fact that, like, all the guys that got kicked out of baseball got to play in one last game.
We could have a whole entire video of just us talking about why the hell they got thrown out of baseball, yet the Houston Astros
are in the playoffs and under 500. That's cool.
I really wanted the Rays to sweep them yesterday.
It's fine. It's over tonight.
So close. Like, as you could probably tell, my brother and myself are huge baseball fans. So, like, I love watching baseball movies. And God, when James Earl Jones has his little speech at the end, it's like, baseball. It's just like, oh, goosebumps. And then even like Burt Lancaster, that was so sad when the young kid gets to, like, get his at bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he knows that he has to walk off the field and he turns into, like, his older self. And I'm just like, oh, that movie hits in the feels a lot. Like, I would still have to go, for me personally, Major League being my favorite baseball movie because, oh my God, I just love all the characters and just, like I get pumped watching like the games in that movie, and like Bob Uecker,
What's happened, but it doesn't matter. Just a bit outside.
I want Bob Uecker to announce every game. It's like, why can't he? Like, obviously he's a Brewers announcer, right?
Yeah, but he should just do playoffs. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but baseball is great, and they've made a lot of great baseball films. Like, I hadn't watched The Natural and Bull Durham until like probably the last couple years, but
We went
they're
to the stadium at the end of the Bull Durham.
and like I even love the Babe Ruth movie with John Goodman playing him, and like watching it, I watched that in the past couple of years. I'm like, it's not the greatest film, but like John Goodman's larger than life, and just watching him as Babe Ruth was so great. Um, what movie character do you feel like you connect with on a personal level?
That's gonna be hard.
Not throwing I'm, I'm not throwing Zach Greinke 59-mile-an-hour pitches at you.
No, this is definitely an ethos. I have to look back here and see if I have any movies that can actually tell me.
It's funny, like I'll occasionally look at my movies, like what's speaking to me right now.
Character. I can't even think. It's interesting. I feel like this is too easy of an answer, just because like anybody that has my name in a movie, like watching Mission Impossible,
Ethan Hunt.
you hear your name throughout the whole movie, and you're like, "Is that me?"
I was named after a movie, so
I think Mama's TV show.
it was an interesting experience watching Shane for the first time. Being like, I was named after this movie. And then the weirdest thing though was when I watched Logan in theater and they were watching Shane in it, and I'm like, my life has come full circle. I've been influenced by Wolverine, and now Wolverine has been influenced by me. It's funny, but
I'm trying to think of like an actual good answer though, because
like I know you like a lot of
anything. Like I have nothing in common with that character whatsoever.
To be perfectly honest, like Ethan Hunt's not the most like fleshed out, like interesting character. Like Tom Cruise is a great action star, and like my God, he's gonna die someday doing one of the stunts in his movies.
Yeah.
But like,
it sucks. It's not a movie, but like a character. Dean Winchester is like definitely.
Hey,
like basically that is me.
Hey, I review all kinds of stuff, so we can take that. I know you're a huge Supernatural fan. Have you caught up? Because isn't it ending soon?
I'm caught up to the point because they had season 15 up to like the 5th or 7th episode, and I got to that, and they just wrapped like the end of last month or the beginning of this month, something like that, which is sad because I've been watching that since like I've seen them all like God knows how many times, but started watching that like season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I remember
watching the episodes come out every week, and it's literally been almost a 15-year journey.
like I remember you binge watching a lot of those early seasons, and I watched a bunch of episodes with you at some points, and I know how much you love that show. And it's interesting to see what Jensen Ackles is going to be doing after this.
He's going to be in The Boys.
I heard that he's Soldier Boy, like the captain. which is
I
hilarious.
haven't seen the show, but just based off of like, just because, just seeing like clips of it and the characters' attitudes, he's gonna be freaking perfect.
Well, he's supposed to be like the bad version, I guess, of Captain America,
Nice.
which is hilarious because he was
Red
rumored a
blood.
lot
Yeah, he's red blood.
when, but because like he was rumored, John Krasinski was, and then it turned out to. I remember when Chris Evans got cast, like, why are they having the Human Torch play Captain America? He can't be Captain America. And then all these years later,
That doesn't exist.
so it looks like Disney is now calling all those films Marvel Legacy films. So
Okay.
like that's how they're branding them now because they're not part of the MCU. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Jensen Ackles being in The Boys. You should watch
I'm
that.
going to watch it now because I want to see him in the second season.
Well, the second season just ended. So like he's going to be in the third season.
For some reason I thought it was 2, but well, for 3 then.
Well, and it just wrapped up last Friday. So you can binge watch the whole first 2 seasons now.
We both know how quickly I can binge a show.
Before I knew it, you got all the way through Yellowstone, and I'm like, he was on like a season ago yesterday.
Yep.
Looking at my Peacock account. Now, what film do you love that you think would surprise people?
It's funny because like The Breakfast Club is one, because when people are like, what's your favorite movie? The Breakfast Club. Really? What do I look like? I don't like I don't know. But it's like,
not look 80s enough to you.
Like anything, because I look pretty in pink. Like that movie is amazing. So I'll go with that one because that's even more shocking. Because I can watch that all the time and still love that movie.
Like I own some of those movies because I watched them with you so many times growing up. Like Jess and I watched Weird Science a couple months ago, and I'm like, I don't remember enough of this movie. And like watching, I'm like, it was because I did remember the whole Road Warrior references.
Oh yeah,
because like that stuck with me. Yeah. But like
the guy from The Hills Have Eyes, the original.
Yeah, because he's one of the like evil. Because they had Vernon Wells, not that Vernon Wells. Not the baseball player Vernon Wells. Yeah. Vernon Wells, the one who played Wes. I forget what he's the Mohawk guy in The Road Warrior. It was literally him, and I'm like, oh my god. And obviously it was a very on the nose Road Warrior reference, but like it was cool and the movie's crazy. And when Bill Paxton though is such a jerk, and then they turn him into that like weird blobby frog thing.
He's like Jabba the Hutt meets like a frog.
Exactly. But I guess my last question for you is, what do you love most about movies?
It takes you out of reality. And like you can kind of, depending on your mindset at that moment, you can just immerse yourself in the whole like environment. That's why it's great. Like when you're watching a Tim Burton movie and it's a rainy day, you don't turn your lights on in the room. You just watch it like it should be. And you just immerse yourself because, reality sucks sometimes, and you go watch a movie and you just want to like have tunnel vision and get into that and not worry about anything.
It's definitely why I miss the theater experience, because like at home there's always like you have your phone in front of you have your laptop in front of you, and there's so many distractions. You're in a movie theater, unless you're a jackass, you put your phone away and you just get lost in it. And I love,
unless you're watching John Carter,
and then you just go to sleep.
Yep, I made my bed and I slept.
I wish Jess let me sleep through After Earth. I wish that she just let me sleep. She was too drunk to let me sleep. She kept waking me up to make fun of the movie. I'm just like, let me go. I want to fade away. This is the longest 90 minutes. The movie was 90 minutes. There's no reason I should have fallen asleep 7 times in 90 minutes.
You got a bad movie when.
That was at like I guess the dearth of Shyamalan land, because they didn't even put his name on it, on any of the marketing, because they didn't want people to know he did it. And you had to deal with Jaden Smith for an hour and a half. Ugh.
I feel it sucks because he's just like M. Night Shyamalan is just a staple of the Philadelphia area, and it's like, why did you go downhill, man?
Well, and the worst part is he started making a comeback, and then Glass happened. That made me so upset because I was all ready to jump back on the Shamhammer train and be like, he's back. And then Glass was just so disappointing.
Yeah, he effed it up.
He does have a really good show on Apple TV Plus called Servant. He didn't write it, which I think might be one of the positive things about it. But like, he directed it. It's really creepy. It's really effective. And I really like it. And it's really one of the only things I've seen Rupert Grint in since like Harry Potter. And he's like a scummy, like he's the scummy brother to like the wife in it. The whole idea is their child died, and all of a sudden they just have this fake baby.
That's Ron, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Daniel Radcliffe's done quite a bit of stuff since then. And then obviously Emma Watson was like the most popular out of all of it.
Malfoy was in Flash CW show.
He was also in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He's the one that gets to say, "Get your filthy paws off me, damn dirty ape," and then Caesar just like straight like wrecks him.
He was actually the best, apparently, between all 4 of them when they had interviews of doing an American accent.
I watched that video. It's interesting because I love Perks of Being a Wallflower. I love that film, but there's so many moments in there where you can just tell Emma Watson struggling to do an American accent.
Just shoot like for 5 minutes, cut. Shoot for 5 minutes and cut.
Like Daniel Radcliffe does a really good job in some of the things that he does. It's not like Tom Felton's does a really great American accent. It's not like there's certain actors like Christian Bale. You wouldn't even know he's British.
I didn't until we were watching Prestige? The Prestige? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, and that's honestly close to his actual accent because he has a Cockney accent.
Is he actually that? And you're like, he's British. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and like in Ford v Ferrari too. That's really close to his actual voice too. And then
Johnny Depp does the same thing. He's pretty damn believable in whatever he decides he wants his voice, and he just keeps with it.
Like Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange has grown on me because at first it was just that really nasally, like American accent.
Like a New Yorker now, like that made me start liking Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's like I'm protecting your reality, douchebag. I wish we could get more Doctor Strange Iron Man banter, but alas. But
too early for spoilers.
Well, there's some crazy rumors going around right now about like their next couple of films because WandaVision's supposedly going to destroy reality and open up a whole bunch of dimensions. And like Electro is going to be in the new Spider-Man with Jamie Foxx.
That's pretty crazy because that doesn't happen very often where you're literally in a different company's franchise and then you portray the same character.
Yeah, 'cause, like the thing is, it's still all Sony technically, but like it's going to be weird. And there's so many rumors going around that Spider-Man 3 is going to have a whole bunch of like Doctor Strange is going to be in it.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a bunch of rumors about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that they might have alternate reality castings. Cause like I heard rumors that Tom Cruise might show up as like a different dimension Tony Stark.
He could totally, based off of that crazy character he played in Dropping Thunder, he like that cocky D bag.
Well, because the thing is, he was their top choice.
Yeah.
Originally for Iron Man.
I'm glad he didn't though, because
because Robert Downey Jr. was perfect. All the main Avengers, their casting was perfect.
Yeah, like, I was upset with Chris Evans. I was so mad because I wanted Jensen Ackles to get it, and then Chris Hemsworth. They're like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
He's from like an Australian soap opera.
And then you're like, no one. I can't even fathom anybody else playing him.
I didn't fall in love with Thor until Ragnarok. And when Ragnarok happened, I'm like...
It gave him like a personality other than Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, and that was the shitty thing, too, with the first two Thor movies, is they made Thor the least interesting character in the movie. Yeah. And then, boom, Ragnarok happened, and Chris Hemsworth is hilarious. And Taika Waititi is just a genius. So, anyway. So, to wrap up the interview, the guest gets ask me a question.
Okay. What, since it's been relatively recently that finally saw you watching horror movies. For the longest time, I tried to get you to get into it. What horror movie actually scared the living crap out of you?
The Babadook.
Duke. Yeah, that movie was effed up.
To paint a picture, it was 2:00 in the afternoon, completely sunny day, in the living room of my Avalon apartment. So like there's plenty of light, everything. I was curled up in a ball on the couch, not okay. And Pat came out of his room and literally laughed at me. Walked into the kitchen, got chicken nuggets, and walked back into his room. And that movie messed me up. And like that, and definitely The Conjuring. The first two, the two Conjuring films.
You don't fall asleep if you're watching it on DVD. Don't do it. I did it. It was bad.
Freaked me out. And not a film, but Haunting a Hill House on Netflix. So Mike Flanagan's one of my favorite horror directors because he knows how to use deep focus. So there's always stuff in the background, which is terrifying. And I remember there's one scene at a funeral home, and it's like the whole family in Hill House having this conversation, and it's like a big wide shot. And I'm sitting there like, there's one too many people there. And I'm like, I'm not okay with this. And like, just so casually, just standing there in the background, I'm like, I don't like this. And there's the scariest jump scare. I think if anything that got me the worst was in Haunting a Hill House, and I don't want to give it away, but all I have to say is in a car. And like, if you wind up watching it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because it'll scare the shit out of you. But I was really excited because Blair Manor, Haunting of Bly Manor, is out right now. So I'm working through that on Netflix, which is its follow-up. But like Mike Flanagan did Oculus, Ouija, Origin of Evil, Dr. Sleep, which like
I actually am watching that, but HBO Max keeps being a d-bag to me. And said
I
no network.
I love Doctor Sleep. I love that movie, and there's like he's a fantastic horror director, but like The Thing is great, but like definitely The Babadook just just got me real bad. And like The Shining is my favorite horror movie, but that's more of just like there's just sense of dread through the whole entire movie. It's more of like increasing your stress levels instead of like
I
scaring
got
you.
anxiety just thinking like I'm blocked in this huge hotel.
And the
But
fact
no, in the middle of friggin' nowhere.
and the fact that Stanley Kubrick purposefully made the hotel a way that it didn't make sense and couldn't actually exist. Like, look, if you tried to draw out it based off of the film, you couldn't draw an actual out overlook hotel because, like, the logic of the corridors don't make sense, and it's disorienting. And like, obviously, he made people do like 150 takes. The one scene where poor Shelley Duvall has to have Jack Nicholson yelling at you, it's just like, honey, you didn't let me finish. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to bash your brains in. They did that 150 takes because Stanley Kubrick was a monster. Like he tortured his cast, and like probably the only person enjoying that was Jack Nicholson.
Jesus, I know.
Because like there's a behind the scenes video of him preparing for the axe scene, and he's just like axe murdering, and he's just like swinging the axe around, warming himself up, and I'm just like, that
Yeah.
would be Jack Nicholson. But yeah, definitely the Babadook. I can't like I've seen it 3 or 4 times at this point. Still can't handle it.
I saw it at night when we were living in Philly. No fun. I had to do laundry after. Going down that dark, dank basement. Like, no, not the basement.
There's certain things like there's been some great horror like I feel like horror films are in a resurgence now.
Yeah.
And because you have your Blumhouse, which is like really pulpy kind of horror films that feel much more like a Carpenter kind of film, stuff like that. And then you have A24, whose job is to like mess you up. That's basically what they do with their movies. Hereditary, Midsummer, It Comes at Night, The Lighthouse, The Witch. Their job is to just mess you up.
Midsummer. Oh my god.
Oh, did you wind up watching Suspiria?
Not yet.
That is a weird ass movie.
I've been binging all of. I went and bought all the Halloween on Blu-ray.
Nice.
October. It has to happen. But yeah, I don't think I've seen a movie where I actually had goosebumps and chills up and down my spine playing Resident Evil 7. They're calling my name because the main character is my name, and you're playing first person.
If I could
being in a movie.
If I could remake anything, I want to make a really terrifying actual I Am Legend movie.
That would be nice because
where they're real vampires and it's just like for real this time instead of CGI blob zombie thingy, whatever the hell. Like Will Smith was great.
they just like clayish like creatures from back in the claymation like
Yeah.
to watch.
But and also I hope that they make like I would be down if they remake Resident Evil and make it like
and they already have the cast.
So I'm interested to see if it turns out to be like a real horror thing.
Well, the director believe the writer or the director or both. I don't know if she does both. Played the games. Is excited to do this. I'm hoping, like, I like the Resident Evil movies, contrary to popular opinion, based off of people who played the games. I like them for, oh, this is an interesting take on everything, until they started throwing in the real characters, and you're like, don't do that. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Did they remake, like, towards like the later films, actually have legitimate scenes from the game in it? Or at least like the exact monsters and stuff like that?
They had monsters, they had the actual characters, but they weren't done very well at all.
To be
They
fair,
didn't stay in it long, but the best thing was the CGI Resident Evils, until we get one that's actually, we'll see when that happens.
we shall see. But thank you for playing along. I enjoyed this a lot. So hopefully all of you enjoy this and keep tuning in. So I'm posting this on Monday, what would that be? The 19th. So, and then my next episode, I'm going to be having my friend Vinny, who I met in film club in undergrad, who has a cool movie blog. So you should go check it out. And he's also a contributor at Sif Pop as well. But thank you, Ethan, my brother, for coming on and chatting movies.
All the buttons that you're supposed to subscribe and to
subscribe. I'm up to 143. I'm very excited.
Might have to get your brother to do some advertising.
But thank you all for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.